It's not a shutdown, but the possible opening of a new coal mine that's digging up controversy in Athens County. The mine has been in the works for more than a year, and despite major pushback from county activists and residents, the Coshocton Coal Company is not backing down. Newswatch in-depth reporter Matt Cudahy has been following the story for weeks. He's here with the details of this debate.
Early last year, Oxford Mining Company published its proposed 5-year plan for a new mine off of Johnson Run Road in Trimble Township. The more than 200-page proposal outlined the company's objectives for the new site. The company had listed May of last year as its projected starting date, yet here we are nearly a year later, and the project is at a standstill because of a few community activists and a handful of legal obstacles.
Fossil fuels are we're over it.
Local activist Roxanne Groff is over fossil fuels and over the possibility of a controversial new coal mine opening up near her home.
Not only the global environment, which all fossil fuel extraction affects, but all of these mines were in close proximity to where I live.
The controversy began with 100 feet of County Road 68 on the border of Athens and Perry County. In June 2016, Athens County Commissioners granted a right-of-way road waiver to the Oxford Mining Company. Oxford is an Ohio-based coal company owned by Westmoreland Coal, the 6th largest coal producer in North America. But late last year, the commissioners voted unanimously to rescind the waiver because Oxford made a mistake in a public notice. Lenny Eliason is Athens County Commissioner President.
It brought to our attention that there was some irregularities in the process with their advertising and their permit application. We investigated them.
Let's take a look at the timeline. The first vote to overturn the waiver happened on September 19th. 1 week later, Oxford filed an appeal stating they believed the permit was rescinded unlawfully. Then, in December, county commissioners voted against a second road waiver, again arguing the public notice did not match the plans provided by the company. Oxford appealed and asked for an evidentiary hearing. But just last week, the judge denied Oxford's appeal request. In the meantime, Oxford still has a permit for the mine pending with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We reached out to ODNR for a comment, but they did not respond. We also reached out to Oxford, but no one from the company would comment. The waiver denied by the county commissioners is just the latest roadblock for a company that's part of an industry that's already on the mend. President Trump campaigned on the promise of bringing coal jobs back to regions like Appalachia. But a year into his presidency, any success has been minimally felt, especially here in Ohio. Westmoreland Coal, Oxford's parent company, employs more than 3,000 employees in 17 coal mines throughout the U.S. As of December, the coal industry employed more than 50,000 people across the United States. That's up nearly 775 jobs from the previous year. But in Ohio, more than 414 coal industry jobs are gone, the second highest loss by a state in 2017.
I think retention is very important. If these jobs go away, they're not coming back. And maybe there'll be something else that will take their place, and maybe there won't. But we know we have it.
Mike Cope is the president of the Ohio Coal Association.
The future is a great mix of sources, of which coal is one of them. Invest all you want to in other sources, that's fine. Just don't prevent us from being able to earn our livelihood with the amount of time and resources that we have.
Coal is currently produced in 18 counties in Ohio, including Athens. Cope stressed the important economic benefits that another mine could bring to a county, especially a county with an unemployment rate of more than 5% and nearly 1 in 3 families living in poverty. According to its 5-year plan, Oxford expects the mine would bring nearly 100 jobs to the area.
Coal has been a huge part of the economy of southern and southeastern Ohio, and it's not what it used to be. I recognize that. But the jobs that we have still pay a living wage.
But local activists like Groff disagree.
Do I want to see those jobs go away? I don't want to see those people lose their income. I just don't want coal mining to happen anymore. And that does mean the loss of jobs.
Groff is a founding member of Save Our Rural Environment, or SOAR. SOAR is a grassroots group that protests the permitting of strip mines in eastern Athens County. Through SOAR, Groff works closely with her friend Lorraine McCosker. McCosker is a professor at Ohio University who specializes in environmental sustainability.
That's the first thing I think about with coal is the impact of climate. And right now we are having, we're in the middle of a climate crisis.
Mike Cope of the Coal Association doesn't disagree.
With regard to climate change, of course there's some climate change. There's no question about it. I'm not a denier of that. To what extent it's happening because of man-made sources, I can't tell you.
However, Professor McCosker argues that man-made sources are definitely to blame.
There was a law passed in 1977. Before that, coal mines could just leave the waste. It would be like you moving out of your apartment and leaving all the trash there for somebody to pick up. I think it affects the community economically and spiritually and culturally to have these filthy streams. I've heard from kids before saying they had no idea what those orange streams were about until they went to school and learned about it.
One of the water quality permits needed for the proposed mine has already been approved, but Oxford is still waiting for the approval of one more water-related permit.
The MPDES permit is even more important because this is directly discharging.
The current proposal will affect more than 2.5 acres of wetlands, an undue progress made from a $2.5 million restoration effort in the Sunday Creek watershed. Michelle Shively is the Sunday Creek Watershed Coordinator for Rural Action, a nonprofit environmental group.
The major impacts to watersheds in Southeast Ohio is acid mine drainage, and historically that's what our work has focused on.
Shively was just one of dozens of people who testified at a public meeting just last week.
For me, I think it's obvious I do this work every day. I value the reclamation and the restoration and the life that we've brought back to the stream. I'm one person and I do this, I'm really close to the work. I do this every day, so it is really important to me, and it's more than just a job.
The meeting was organized by the Ohio EPA after pressure from the community.
Did the OEPA, were they the ones who called this public hearing?
Actually, I did.
Okay. Yeah.
And then got other people to write to the director.
The meeting began with an information session where EPA representatives presented a PowerPoint and addressed any questions about the permit and details about Oxford's plan pertinent to the permit. A hearing open to public testimony immediately followed.
You know, this is a chance for people to be able to speak out. And anytime, that's our right. And it's our due process to be able to, testify.
Almost 100 community members were in attendance with representation from both the coal supporters and the environmentalists. The meeting concluded incident-free, and the OEPA said that they will keep the community updated on any further decisions. With mounting legal roadblocks and increased pushback, the future of the Johnson Run coal mine is unclear. However, the Energy Information Administration, a branch of the U.S. Department of Energy, believes that the future of fossil fuels in America is strong. At their 2018 Energy Outlook press conference, the EIA predicted that fossil fuels will still account for more than 75% of the United States energy source in 2050. So whether or not the Johnson Run mine happens, the coal industry isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Written testimony regarding the wastewater permit was due yesterday afternoon. The EPA says it'll consider technical, economic, social, and environmental aspects of the project before deciding whether or not to issue the permit.
Now, Matt, what does the company have to say about all of this?
Well, we'd like to be able to tell you that, but we reached out to both Oxford and its parent company, Westmoreland, multiple times. When we finally talked to an executive at the parent company, the response was no comment. Reporting live for Newswatch at Noon in depth, I'm Matt Cudahy.